welcome to Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. Mr. Temple, and of course on the show today, and the Nigerian Football League. One game ongoing right now. We'll bring you up to speed with those games. Some have already ended in those other centers where games match the 30 was played tonight. And of course, we'll take a look at the preparations ahead of tonight's games in the UEFA Champions League. I'm not going to do this alone. When I come back from this short time out, I'll bless you with the guests that I have here in the studio. But it promises to be a rocky time here this evening. Don't go anywhere.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people.
Greenwoods with the goal. Goalkeeper missed it.
Right again.
Fight for him. He does a right hand and down goes straight up. To the immortality as an athlete, 19.79. It's a goal. It's 8 goals.
Just joining us, this is Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me live this evening is Mame Michael, the man who, of course, understands the workings here. Good to have you here. You're welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Temple, and good evening to our viewers. It's always a pleasure doing this with you.
Vance Ache also joins us live on the show this evening.
Yeah, good evening. It is always a pleasure being around.
It is a pleasure being around. And of course, let's move straight now to the Nigeria Premier Football League, where a lot has happened. In the last game have ended officially. One of those centers where game officially has ended is the game between Eyimba Football Club and Heartland. Ekene Kennedy Awazie scored in the 35th minute to ensure that Eyimba get 1-0 in this Oriental derby. What a crunch encounter. But the 35th minute scored by Ekene ensured that Eyimba are now second on the log. Pending what transpire at the end of tonight's game.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a nice result for Eyimba. Getting all 3 points is what matters. It doesn't matter whether it is a long goal or a half goal. All that matters is they were able to take home all 3 points to also continue in their quest to defend the title they won last season. And of course, before that game, their gaffer, talking about Finidi George, was talking very tough ahead of that game. But then looking at the camp of Heartland, we understand that their ex-players came together over the weekend to dole out some financial reward to some of the players, also encouraging them to also make sure that they get a positive result against Eyimba. But then look as though some of those financial reward were not good enough for the players as they fell to the firepower of
to ensure that they keep on the pace. For Gombe, this is a bad news for them because they are swinging already. In fact, they are already clogged in the depth of relegation zone.
I think it's not a good result for Gombe out there. Of course, you know that the Pantami Stadium out there is always a very, very hostile ground, and it's a home that they've actually made a fortress for themselves. But it looks as though since the start of this season, that fear factor is no longer there at the Pantami Stadium. And of course, they've actually struggled. Looking at their last 7 games so far this season, you know, they've actually struggled. You know, find it difficult to rediscover their form, and that is the reason why they had to lose to Kwara United. But then you will say that Kwara United on their own, they are not doing bad at all. You know, they are trying to finish within a very respectable position in the league so far. Though we still have about a few games to go, but then for Gombe United, this is not a good result at all, especially where they find themselves right now, hovering within, you know, the drop zone. I think is a quite,
that game. 3 in favor of Enugu Rangers. Isaac Kwezium scored a brace in that one to ensure that Enugu Rangers continues to terminate. You know, Adejo Ojonugwa, you know, scored, you know, in the 45th plus 2 minutes to get the consolation goal. But it looks like Abia Warriors might just lose this particular one. So why one team from Abia State have won, one is already losing away. But the Oriental derbies seems to be very, very tricky. And for me, I'm not surprised that Enugu Rangers, you know, won this particular one. But then the score line for me is a little bit at 3 draws, because Oriental derbies can be very, very tricky, like I said. Evans.
I think Enugu Rangers are doing quite well this season. I think it's not a surprise to me. Enugu Rangers have been doing quite well, and Abia Warriors in their own part, I expected them to do a lot more. So because when it comes to derby like this, you are supposed to put up a good fight, but looking at the game today, I think
Plateau United.
Not that surprised, but for me, I think unless Oyowa and the deputy Echeta has been, you know, the 2 players have been able to carry the burden of the team on their shoulder ever since they continue to struggle in the league. But then, I haven't seen that disappointing outing in the continental outing where they actually failed to, you know, the Algerian side. They're coming back home. They know that if they don't fight from all fronts as it stands right now, they're not going to finish in a very respectable, you know, position in the league so far. Looking at the pedigree of Rivers United, you don't expect them to be, you know, struggling in the league so far, finding themselves in a very, very disappointing position. Though you may want to say, yes, they have 6 outstanding games to play, but those 6 outstanding games doesn't totally entail all 3 points in the bag. They need to also work it out on the pitch of play, and of course they have started doing that by getting all 3 points today. Let's hope that they can continue to put their foot on the pedal, to continue to press the throttle very hard to ensure that they at least continue to rack up the maximum point that is at stake, so that they can be able to finish very strong in the league. We are not talking about them contending for the title, because definitely they are out of it for this season, but then for them to finish very strong so far this season.
I'm talking about being out of it. I mean, we saw full time at the United, and if you look at the log, you won't be surprised why Katsina had to go away from home to pick point. Katsina used to be one of the best sides when it comes to consistency, and they have shown that particular one. They're still 7th on the log now, you know, and they're playing against Bayelsa United, struggling from relegation. With that draw, now Bayelsa are seated 15th, pending what happens, you know, as the games completes later on. But it looks like Rivers United, yes, they are still grappling. You know, having won this particular one now, they now have 34 points, and they are sure to leave the relegation zone. But then, like I said, it will be a very difficult one for them to win the title, because 34 and 54, they have they have to win all their games and win every other game this season for them to be hopeful, which looks very unlikely, Evans.
it actually looks very unlikely, because I don't think they might even be able to win all the outstanding.
Because that's like Smart 30. That means they have more 8 games to play, and they have a standing game, because they played only 24 games, you know. So they have 6 games to get to level up things. Then they have another 8 games to play. So can they win all the games? That's the question for them to, you know, contend for the title.
I think a standing game doesn't mean a walkover. It might be a standing. What
1-3-1, Gombe United losing at home, you know, to Kwara United. The Enugu Rangers 3-2. It has ended formally. Other Warriors scored, you know, late goal there. It ended 3-2 after all, but in favor of Enugu Rangers. And Heartland could not stop the firepowers of Eyimba. It ended 1-0 in that Oriental. the Barca United drew 1-1 against Katsina United. Bender Insurance at home at the Samuel Gbumudia Stadium in Benin City defeated Kano Pillars 1-0. And this defeat of Kano Pillars is not a good one now because of that now Kano Pillars are now 9th on the log. Michael, with Kano Pillars at this point, will you say 41 points as compared to 54 points, 49 points? You think they can still contend with 8 games to go for this title?
No, I do not think so. You know, Kano Pillars, they were doing pretty well at the mid-season game 17 game with week 18 and all of that. But then when you go to game week 27, 28, they began to, you know, find themselves wanting out there. In their last 4 games right now, they've actually lost 3 of those 4 games. You saw in the 3 weeks ago where they were actually, you know, dismantled and pummeled by this Enyimba to nothing. They went back home, pick up a draw. In their next game, they got a win. So I think for Kano Pillars, they are out of the title race right now. They should just do everything possible to finish within the top 10. That's all.
And that's all. Of course, look at the way things are happening right now. You just want to think that a lot may change later on. But one team that we will not forget about is Aqua United. Wherever they got this strength from, it needs to be well applauded. 4-1, it ended at the most beautiful and, of course, approved standardized stadium in the continent of Africa. That's the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. We saw 5 goals. You know, Ubon Friday scoring a hat trick in this game. He scored a penalty, and he also scored in the 37th minute, 70th, and 76th minutes, as well as Osoba Kabea, who scored in the earlier in the 41st minute to ensure that the boys, the promise keepers as they are called, ran out with a 4-1 win against Niger Tornadoes. Evans, before we came into the studio, we talked about this particular one. And for Aqua United, with the way they are going so far, they are also battling to move up from relegation. They have a new coach who, of course, want to build something with them. But they are seated, you know, 3rd in the relegation zone. They are 18th on the log. So you look at it and so picking up points because a team like Aqua United, Dakota FC, we were relegated last season, and if it will be very bad for us to see another, you know, team from Uyo relegated. I'm not sure Akwa Ibom will be very happy. But with this win now, it looks like a rejuvenator or a restored hope or a renewed hope, you want to say.
Yeah, I think it should be a renewed hope if only they can keep the momentum. I'm so happy for them because so much investment have gone into this team, and I think these teams need to start giving out results. They don't have time. There's no time. They need to be consistent. Now they've gotten a win. I think if they continue like this, get more wins, I think they will be out of the relegation zone.
Abakel, you are one man who followed he loves Aqua United for whatever reason. But you look at their stride so far, 4-1, good one. But when they lose, I mean, it's difficult to see how they also lose. But I'm sure that you're impressed with this result, regardless of how it came.
Yes, of course. For Aqua United, I think I'm very, very close to Aqua United. Reason very simple. I've actually stayed out there in Uyo. You know, I have the opportunity of going to their camp and meeting some of their players one-on-one as well. So for me, whenever Aqua United get to lose, I think I feel their pain as well, you know, because of the fact that as a sports journalist, I'm very close to some of the players out there and some of the management. At some point, you know, I was actually working, you know, with the Aqua United team during the era of their former governor, talking about, you know, the Governor Dom Emmanuel. But, you know, since Umoino came in and we saw their sister club talking about Dakada FC being relegated, I thought maybe Aqua United being the only eyes that is also representing or bearing the much of you know, the responsibility of trying season. I think Aqua United is not the same Aqua United we know in the past. This is the same club that also won the league about 2 to 3 years ago. So you expect them to be fighting from out front, but quite unfortunate the way they actually started the season so far. Even at the time where, you know, they were, you know, they went away from home to play at the Eke Township Stadium, they continued to struggle. But it looked as though since they came back to the Uyo Main Township, you know, stadium, talking about the Gospel of Akpabio International Stadium, they've been actually actually trying to, rejig back their momentum and get back their mojo. But then at some point, when you think maybe they are bouncing back, they continue to crumble. Of course, and that is the reason why they had to relieve their former coach of his appointment and bringing in a new person in the name of Baba Ganaru, who also have toured around the country in the quest to also take some of this team. An experienced coach, you want to say, but then he was drafted in 3 weeks ago. In his first game, he was going to cut him some slack. Why? Because the timing was too. Some of the players get to understand the strength and the philosophy of the team. So I knew it that in his second game he will also want to also do well, because he was drafted in, to represent possibly the David Moye in England, who is also good at helping relegation team to come to stay afloat of the league. Let's hope that they can be able to build on this very momentum going forward. Just like you say, we have about 8 or 7 games to go. So if they can be able to build on this by getting 3 points in some of these remaining games, I assure you that Aqua United is going to stay afloat of the NPFL League.
Aqua United looks like a team that might, and so, but it depends on what they have to, what they make of the rest of the games. 30 games played so far for them. They need to win, at least get maximum win in the next 8 games that will come their way. Another game we saw today, for Lagos fans, they should be very happy at the Oniko Stadium. We saw Sporting Lagos did the magic again. Star in that cause was scored by Pascal Nkachi Durobo in the 9th minute. It looks like we saw a lot of early goals in today's encounter, and that's very challenging. But for Lagos, and the ability for the team to score early, hold on to that lead, and ensure that you get the 3 points. For me, it's a good one. The fans of Lagos should be very happy with what Sporting Lagos have done today.
Definitely, they should be happy. Of course, we talked about the early goal. Of course, the early goal gives you that advantage. It helps the players to relax and be able to perfect their game plan as well. And it destabilizes the opposing team as well, because when you get to concede early, it's going to totally destabilize the tactics or whatever the coach has already pre-planned for that game. So for me, I think it's a good one for Sporting Lagos. Their qualities is never in doubt. The Sporting Lagos, they started the season like a house on fire, dropping down some of the big teams. So we thought maybe, Godwin and Nahena, this man who really know what grassroots football is all about, a veteran journalist, you understand the politicking of the Nigerian NPFL League. Others, as then we were praising him for the magnificent job that he's doing. We thought maybe, yes, this is the new kid on the block. Maybe the Bayern Leverkusen of the Bundesliga at some point. We even likened them to the Girona when Girona was actually topping the league out there in Spain. But then it looked as though as the game continued to come along, the boys began to gradually being separated. Being gradually separated from the men out there. They couldn't find their footing any longer. But then, good to see that at the tail end of the season, they are actually trying to crawl back into reckoning and also give their home fans something to cheer home about. Of course, the Lagos fan, how raucous they could be. If you are not giving them the result, it doesn't matter whether you are their home team, they get to boo you out there. But whenever you do well, they will also for Sporting Lagos to see that they got all 3.
So getting that, and of course, if you look at the league table right now, from what they've done so far for Sporting Lagos, they are now 11th on the log. A good win for them. That's also boosted them, and they have a -2 goal advantage. And prepare massively for what is to come. Another place where we saw a game today, of course, was that game is at the halftime right now. Shooting Stars in Ibadan, the Lagos currently playing against Lobby Stars. And Lobby Stars needs to win this game. They must continue to contend for the title with Enugu Rangers. For now, if they fail to win this game, as they are currently losing 1-0 now, they will have the challenge of hoping that they win the next game, and then a lot of things can still happen. But tonight's encounter,
not counter, because for me, I think that competitiveness that we are seeing this season NPFL, I think I'm loving it. The likes of Enugu Rangers, the likes of Plateau United, the likes of Enyimba, even Lobby Star going for each other's jugular out there. I think that is very, very impressive, and this is what we want to see in the NPFL, where we are going to see that teams fight down to the last minute of the game. The title chase going down to the wire. This is what you expect, and this is what you call a development. This is what will make you to say, yes, I think I have trust in the league as well, because if it becomes a one-way horse race, then it will make no sense. That interest will no longer be there. So for me, I think it's not going to be a good one if they get to lose, but then that is even going to propel them to effort in their next game to ensure that they bounce, catch up with the likes of Enugu Rangers, Enyimba, and the rest of the team season.
Contending for the title, so result of the game ongoing, in the game between Shooting Stars and some of that particular one, but so far we have seen 25 goals scored in the 8 centers where games we played today. Do you think that this is an average scoreline on a day like this?
Yeah, for me, I think so. I've actually of the goal scoring. If you divide that into the 8 teams that have played, you have an average ratio of 2.3% ratio of goals scored by each game, which for me, I think is very, very fair. Though some persons might say, yes, it's not that good enough, but then you will understand that this is the tail end of the season. Many teams are very, very cautious the way they attack. They no longer come out to, for all attack. They are very, very cautious to preserve their lead. If you get to score an early goal, you hold on to, whistle of the game. So for me, I think the goal ratio, 2.03%, 8 different centers is not a bad one at all.
But Nana, what do you think about the goal ratio so far?
I think it's not a bad one at all, because our league has not been a league known for so many goals. I think it's a nice one.
It's a nice one, and of course we hope to see. As stands now, let's take a look at how the table looks now. Enugu Rangers are top with 54 points, pending the game between Lobby Stars and Shooting Stars, like I said. And with the win now, Shooting Stars have toppled Plateau United now with they are okay at the same point, but no, Plateau United have 47 points. They're seated 6th now, and Shooting Stars looks like a team that want to do a whole lot. The man they call the Oracle, Benga Gumbote, the coach of the side, is will be very happy that his team gradually pushing. And if the season ends now, it will be Enugu Rangers Enyimba who will qualify for the new rejig system of the CAF, and no longer CAF Champions League. It will now be the CAF Super League. Maybe we're going to see Lobby Stars, Remo Stars now play in the CAF Champions League. God has said from next season, CAF.
I'm loving it, and for me, I'm one of the proponents of the full, league season, other than this abridged stuff that we played last time. Because in the abridged league, you can actually get to fathom out the strength of each teams out there, because of the fact that they have limited games to play. Therefore, the coaches will not have the opportunity of making use of their French players. They will also want to start maybe the legs that they will say, okay, these are my first team. Week in, week out, you get to play these players, and some of them, they are human as well. Sometimes they get exhausted or they get wear out. But in a full season, when you play all the complete games, I think it gives the coach the ample opportunity to also test, their squad depth by bringing in some fringe players out there, even when his first teams in quotes, have been exhausted. Also reject the. I think this is the best way to go. I do not think of it any team out there, but for this very one, this is a true test of the strength of each team, and of course it will offer Nigerian team even a greater opportunity to be able to square up against some other African clubs out there when they get to the CAF Champions League.
When we get to the CAF Champions League, I can tell you for sure that so far 25 goals have been scored pending the game between Lobby Stars, between 3SC Shooting Stars and Lobby Stars. in Ibadan. We hope to get you more update from that particular one because that game is currently on at its half time now. So we'll go back to that game as time progresses. But don't forget that we have a lot for you this evening. It's the UEFA Champions League evening, and many talking points arising from the two games. One that we played at the Signal Iduna Park in the Bundesliga, Germany precisely, and in Barcelona. We are a lot. One of the capital. Any more we'll look at when we come back from this short time. Don't forget, you're tuned into Atlantic Television Network, and it is Sports Extraordinary here.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honourable
You human trafficker.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
It's still Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. I still have Emmanuel Michael here and Vance Ajay Mohammed joining us on today's edition of this show. Before we went for that short time, I will talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League. We are 8 games across various centers. 8 games across various centers went on, and of course we've seen some surprising results. We've seen some away results too, like Kwara United getting a 2-1 win against Gombe United away from home. And also not forgetting that there's a game currently on. Shooting Stars are currently playing halftime. There's still one goal there at the Masimba Stadium in Ibadan, where they are currently leading against title contenders, the Lobby Stars. But away from that, now let's talk about club football in Europe. And of course, we start with the game played yesterday night at Stamford Bridge, where it was Chelsea who had it all going for them. 6-0 it ended in their favor. And a lot of persons have been talking about this particular one. No one saw this one coming, even if Everton in recent time have been engaged with some internal tussle. But 6-0, I don't think Minnesota come in advance.
Nobody saw it coming. I think Chelsea yesterday, they were just blazing. I think Chelsea were on fire yesterday, and I think it's a good one that they are on fire at this time of the season. It's a nice one.
With this now, what is the hope of Everton, Mike? I mean, at this point, you don't want to lose more points after you have been docked 2 points, and then you were docked 6 points. Is it about the point? I think if they were winning, we won't be talking about the challenges they face, right?
Definitely, he's happiest fans on the planet Earth. Having seen Manchester United over the weekend, seen Arsenal also drop point against Aston Villa, and Liverpool as well dropping point against Crystal Palace. I think Chelsea, they will be the most happiest people, but then they still remain within the 9th position. But they are 3 points closer to Manchester United, and they still have about 2 outstanding games. So it's likely they might even see European ticket if they continue in this fight against Everton yesterday, because sometimes they blow hot and cold, just like the scripture say that you can neither be hot nor cold. If you are cold, he's going to spit you out of his mouth. I don't know whether the pressure that comes with staying afloat of the EPL is going to help Chelsea to stay very, very consistent and build up with this fine form. But one thing remains is that their man talking about Kopama was a difference in that yesterday game, as he scored 4 goals.
And he scored 4 goals, and of course, you cannot rule the fact that Chelsea were in a standing form yesterday, thanks to the goal scored by Kopama there, and that man seems to be the man a lot of persons have been talking about. But let's leave that for another day. Let's look at tonight's game, the UEFA Champions League. This is the night swing to, because certainly tonight, one team will exit this tournament.
I think tonight is the night of upset. We'll upset one of the teams today.
Well, okay, well, when you talk about upset, I don't know. Let's start with the one, because I know where you're headed to. Let's start with the one before us, and FC Barca and Paris Saint-Germain. Are we going to see an upset? It is 3-2 in favor of the Catalans. This is not the era of away goal rule. So if you have one goal today, it settles it. No, you need to win outrightly today. And you look at the both sides, who do you think will get the nod?
For me, I'm rooting for PSG. I think PSG will go out there and overturn the game. I think PSG are very much informed. Though you might look at it that last week Mbappe was actually caged, but I believe that today we've seen Mbappe do it before. In the World Cup, we saw how Mbappe was able to carry the team during the finals, and I think Mbappe is going to replicate that today. Mbappe is going to be on fire today. I think PSG are going to win Barcelona. Not just winning Barcelona, but they will win Barcelona very well today, with a lot of goals.
Mike?
I think I want to disagree with you, Evans. Looking at the attacking prowess and the attacking instinct, the quality of what Barcelona possess in front line, I truly tell you, it's going to be a very, very difficult one for PSG to surpass them this year. So, even not run away with all victory at their home ground, talking about Park the Princesses. Is it a way ground that they are going to take all 3 points? I think for me, I want to tell you that Barcelona is just going to finish the job that they started in the first leg. I see Barcelona going home with 3-1 in this very one tonight, because Lewandowski, don't forget, he didn't score in the first leg. We saw Rafinha, pulling the Lewandowski, of course, you know that his quality is never in doubt. He has played at the highest level. And also, they have a very good and mercurial midfield They won the Champions League with Manchester City last time. So he's bringing this wealth of experience to bear in the Barcelona team tonight. So for me, I'm giving it to Barcelona all the way. Despite the fact that Kylian Mbappe want to show, a glimpse of what he need to offer to Real Madrid if his transfer to Real Madrid become fruition. I believe he want to.
It's already fruition. I mean, that has been announced. Okay. And that's why a lot of us even think that can he do the magic one more night? He talked about what he did at World Cup.
Yeah.
At stages like this, that's where players who are of quality are known for.
Sure.
Can he show that glimpse once to say it? To say it doesn't matter the result at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Can Mbappe be the shining light tonight? Score 2 goals and they lose, or score 2 goals, score 1 goal and overturn the tie. Can he just create that magical feeling tonight?
Yeah. You can be able to pull the chestnut out of fire, but one thing remains. After scoring the goals, can they be able to hold on to the goals that he scored? They only score. So, but Kylian Mbappe might come to the party, but his goal might not be enough to be able to, offset the deficit that Barcelona will come with, because we rest assured that indeed Barcelona is going to score, because they are not a defensive side. They play more of the tiki-taka kind of thing, the champagne kind of football, where they hold on to possession of football and all of that, capitalize on the loose ball from their opponent and get to punish them. And of course they have very young and very talented players that can also do that. Of course, we've seen Pedri back in the midfield as well. The combination of Pedri in the midfield with Gundogan is going to be very, very perfect. And you talk about the left wing, the young 16-year-old boy, talking about Lamine Yamal, who has a heart of a big man. We definitely want to make the difference tonight, not also forgetting Rafinha. At some point, people, because of the way he came, he left, the EPL when Chelsea was going for him. He said no, he has decided to pick up in the first leg, and I tell you, he will definitely also make the difference tonight. So the tie is cast as it stands right now, but for me, I'm giving it to Barcelona tonight.
Giving it to Barcelona tonight, but let's see how it all goes, and we'll look at where the pendulum will swing to, and that takes us now to the big game. Dortmund versus Atletico Madrid. Is it done and dusted for Atletico at the Signal Iduna Park?
I think looking at the game that Simone plays, I think is done and dusted, because Simone is not a coach that will go and give away a lead. I think the game, if you look at the very first leg, Atletico were all out at the first stage of the match, and I think that today they will also draw the first blood, and by drawing the first blood, they will draw the first blood, get the first goal, and then lock up. I think they will pack the bus. If he gets any first goal today, I think they will pack the bus and make sure they go back home with a victory. I don't think Atletico will go out there to... We know Atletico, we've seen Atletico before, and Atletico does not give away a win. It will be difficult for Dortmund to ever come back.
Now, between the two games we're going to see today, it's just 1 goal difference between the both sides. 3-2 Barca and PSG. 2-1, the game played at the Wanda Metropolitano. So you ask yourself, are we going to see the players, or the coaches make difference in this game? Mike, do you think that the tactical ability of the coaches, Xavi Hernandez, Luis Enrique, or we're going to see a certain Diego Simeone also causing some?
Yeah, of course, the coaches, they have a serious work to do tonight, of course, and the outcome of this game might possibly be down to the coaching's tactical prowess. They are coaching, able to go back to their archive and reinvent that which made them to earn a UEFA license as a coach. For Diego Simeone, his quality is never in that. One of the highest paid coaches, in the world right now. He has been there for Atletico Madrid. He understands the philosophy of the team, and of course, you expect him to also come up in a master classic, tactical display out there in order to maneuver his opponent and get the best out of him. So the coaches, they have the work cut out for them. For Xavi Hernandez, yeah, of course, you may say yes. He is a prodigy of Luis Enrique, because don't forget he actually played under Luis You can't also forget that 2017 Champions League where Barcelona with that comeback against this same PSG. So I think for me, Javi Hernandez, he has learned and he has played under some of the best coaches. A couple with Bernard as a coach as well. Then talking about Luis Enrique, is one man who truly know what it is to be on the touchline. He has proven it time with time number that indeed is a good coach. The tactical input of these coaches, at some point, as professionals, you expect some of the players, if the tactical, master class of the coaches is not working out for them, you expect them to go out of their way by making sure they single-handedly deliver the deliverables for their clubs out there. And that is why we are talking about players like Kylian Mbappe to make the difference, players like Lamine Yamal to make the difference, players like Sancho for Dortmund to make the difference, players like Griezmann, Morata to also make the difference for Atletico Madrid. So for me, you can't coaches, but at some point where the chips are down, the players also need to rise up to the occasion by making sure that they bring their wealth of professionalism to bear, because at some time the coach might not be there on the pitch of play. They stand behind the touchline to dish out instruction. So for me, the coaches have a great role to play, but the players as well, they also have their own workouts to cut out for them.
Yes, workout. Of course, we'll look out for the two games. One to play at the Signal Iduna Park, and the other will played in Spain. And it promises to be mind-blowing because one of these two teams, two of these four teams will exit the tournament, and two will move to the semi-final stage of the UEFA Champions League. Will it be Dortmund? Will it be Atletico Madrid? Will it be Barca? Or will it be PSG? Let's see what will make the difference tonight in those encounters. So keep it locked. I'll get you across tomorrow and we'll look at the result of those games. But we cannot leave the studio without informing you that still in all, one goal scoreline in favor of Shooting Stars of Ibadan against Lobby Stars. One goal after 58 minutes. And before we leave, Evans, Anthony Martial, he will not be in the colours of Manchester United next season because his contract expires at the end of the season and doesn't look like that will be renewed.
Martial, over the years, have been able to escape the ass of Manchester United. I think he's one of the darling players that has always been signed back, even though he has not been so productive. But I think every good thing comes to an end. Whatever happens at the end of the season, I think Martial is still a good player any day. He just needs to find his feet back on the game.
Find his feet back. And Michael, I think you're aligned with the thought?
Sure. Martial, his quality is never in doubt. He has given his all for Manchester United. At this point, I think it's time for him to, pack his bags and baggages and start leaving the Old Trafford, where things seems not to be working very well under Eric Ten Hag. I think his surplus to requirements right now. He needs to go to a place where he will be appreciated for the